No.
He'll fight for freedom wherever there's trouble. G.I. Joe is there. G.I. Joe.
Cobra's attacking our winter outpost. Call in the members of the G.I. Joe team.
And here's Gung Ho, Airborne, Doc, and Snow Job. And every Joe has a two-handed battle grip.
Get aboard the Battle Bear. It's G.I. Joe to the rescue.
G.I. Joe.
We chased off Cobra. Way to go, Joe.
G.I. Joe Battle Bear, Joe and Cobra figures each sold separately from Hasbro.
Well, here we are. I want to congratulate you for being on time.
So, what would you little maniacs like to do first?
Sunday Funday.
Oh, yeah, Granddad.
Engaged. So, I trust everyone had a productive week. I saw the show yesterday, albeit some of it in replay, some of it in my breaks during class.
Hey, we appreciate it.
Yeah, it was good stuff. Oh, there we go. Plague Doctor's in the house. As is Evil Dookie, Larry, Scrib, the whole gang. Gang's all here. Lady Spartan throwing spitballs from the back of the room. But Hillbilly, thank you for coming.
Yes.
Wes,
Thanks for
Uncle
having me.
Clutch. I appreciate everybody showing up. Does anybody have anything they'd like to show off tonight?
I do. I don't know about the rest of
Okay,
y'all.
we'll start with you, Mr. Hillbilly.
I forgot about this yesterday morning, and I got some stickers
Oh, hell yeah.
from one Ronald Trickshot, or as we like to refer to him as Rano.
Hey, Paul.
Hey,
Fist bump.
that's all I got.
All right. Well, I
Nice.
mean, Ronnie Trickshot, that's enough right
Yep.
there.
Oh, yeah. He's the man, the myth, and the legend.
Indeed. Indeed. Wes, how about you?
Oh, yeah. I got some stuff to show off.
Excellent.
Thanks to you. Got a good sticker
Nice.
there. Great
Nice.
sticker. And also
Nice.
Mr. Ronnie Trickshot. That was more British than
Nice.
Australian. And then yes, and then thanks to you as well for shipping this stuff, Joe. Zarlord.
Ooh.
Oh, he looks good.
Zargonaut. And the Yeti. The Yeti is so cool.
Anytime you
is-
put translucence on,
The three throwing stars on the back. I think those are throwing stars, right? We still call them that?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ninja
Or ninja
stars.
stars. Right.
Yeah.
You're
And,
right.
yeah, and the packaging is just,
That's awesome.
phenomenal. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Beautiful.
That's all I got.
Cool. Very cool. Very cool. Uncle Clutch.
I got some stuff. I hit the flea market today, but I want to know if anybody in the
Nice.
comments remembers the good old days when you could order Ninja Stars from a comic book or a magazine, and they would come to you in the mail, and your parents had no idea. You could also order a Rambo style survival knife, and I watched First Blood Part 2 today in preparation for this.
Nice.
In my spare time. All right, so I went to the flea market today, saw a couple of vendors, and you are like a typecast customer. So like this is the first thing, and when I went up to pay him, he said, "Let me ask you, are you getting this just because you want to get the hood?" And I was like,
Dang.
"Yeah, man." I was like, "You don't you judge me." I was like, "Only God can judge me, so just ring it up."
Yep.
No, Wally at Wally's Retro Wonders is a great dude. They run like a Saturday and Sunday flea market. So also, we've been talking about this in some online stuff. I actually made the mistake of not contacting Evil Dookie at the flea market because there were two more that I could have snagged for him, but I've got contact there. I got a little clout in the old flea market, so I've got a couple on hold for my man because this is just a cool figure. I mean,
Yes.
you've got the cut. You've got the figure itself is basically a Merc, a Dreadnought, or just common thug out of the box. You got that beautiful long locks on Thor there and his hammer. So that was for $10, man. I'm doing that all day long. I went and saw my other friend, Natalia. I'm gonna tell you, the back of the box sold me. If you were watching wrestling and then they like once Elizabeth showed up and then everybody else just like drove you into puberty like on the express train. But I just saw this and I said, first of all, I like the hair, I like the knots. I don't often keep the wrestler's head on the female body. I'll split those up, and I don't know what it is about the hands, but the hands are always bigger. They can palm their face with, so not doing that. And I did check prices, and I got this bike here, which is going to be great for a larger wrestler or larger Joe figure on a bike, because we know the struggle. The 112 Harley Davidson bikes that they have on Amazon. I'm sorry, they're not. I'm just going to help everybody out here. Don't do it. And then as far as stuff I kind of finished this week, this is my version of Ninja, who is plays himself in the movie Chappie. And I obviously used some Mercer stuff there and kind of turned Mercer into a taller, skinnier dude. Got some South African dust on him, got the yellow M4. Lady Spartan asked me, like, why is it yellow? I was like, I didn't write the movie. I'm not Blomkamp or whatever you say. But if you pull up a picture of Ninja, he's got the antelope logo, which I think might be from his band. I just went with a Zartan overlay and painted it yellow after I did the overlay, which was tedious. And then I posted just having some Saturday fun after the podcast with Eric. Lynn went to hang out with a friend and do like adult stuff. And I was like, whatever, I'm going to do kid stuff and make a figure for no reason, and made mercenary codename Fisheye. And Dookie was like, is that one of the Briscoe brothers? And I was like, correct. I was like, good wrestling eye there. So that is all I have for stuff.
That's pretty cool.
That's plenty of stuff.
It's a good haul.
Wow. I don't know how I follow that up. I don't know how you follow that up.
Yeah.
Let's see. So I guess we'll start with the basics. So I got a couple of these guys in yesterday. So I'm gonna pretend like I'm starting on Cobra Law, but I've got other things to get to first as far as creating dios. So that'll just have to wait. But this is the one, and actually, let me fix my visual effect because I don't want to. So I got her in, and she comes with, so much stuff. She comes with like this leathery whip and all these skulls and chains, and she's got like a wired skirt, so you can pose that. She's got a bunch of different hairdos, and she comes with like a cage that has like a skeletal snake in it, and a dog that has got 3 heads.
Was that a
Um,
tail?
so this is actually because of how I put her in the dio. She's kneeling before the Forgotten King in the tomb.
Okay.
So she has become a follower of the hidden or Forgotten King. But in order to get her in that pose, I had to like get a little piece of wire in order to get her the way I wanted it. So, but yeah, so that's what I got for now. Oh, here we go. Ronnie, like you missed the splatter effect. Hold on, I got mine too.
Nice.
I don't have one.
See, there you go, Ronnie. You got to get on that. Nice.
What?
I don't know.
He made a comment on my Facebook post.
Oh, everybody's complaining. So you got Uncle Clutch and Evil Dookie who needs running trick shot stickers here. It's
Joe Fest 2027.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we don't have to. Uh-oh, Lady Spartan has questions.
Oh my.
I was gone for how long and you bought what?
Yeah. But just a quick shameless plug. Tomorrow night, there's going to be a press conference covered only by this YouTube channel from Zartan, and it should be an exciting time. Again, anybody who's with us tonight, feel free to drop in tomorrow night. It's going to be an exciting time. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, what time did I say? That's a great question.
It's probably 6 or 7, right?
I think it was 7:30. Let me double check that. Of course, now nothing's loading.
I agree.
So I'm streaming. That's
plan
great.
6 months out.
Let's see. All right, here we go. Sorry about that. Live. So tomorrow night it will be 8:30 p.m. Eastern time.
I might be home by then.
Yeah, Mondays. I'm usually at trivia night with a bunch of friends, but yeah.
Hopefully we get some people to tune in because it's a very different type of show. So we're going to be revealing all kinds of things. So that having been said, tonight we're here to talk about the reality versus the G.I. Joe world, like military tech, MOSs, all that good stuff. And also, I think there we go. Oh, Ronnie, really? There's always one. And I like Evil Dookie. Yeah, we can't plan out more than 6 months. Wreck Ship's out there.
Yeah.
There he is. All right. Yeah, I think we're getting those storms tomorrow. But a lot of us, when we were growing up, when we were kids, I mean, one of the coolest things you could be was, in the military, because you had guns, you had all this excitement, you had all these things going on, and you were traveling the world, and, the world was your oyster. And I think that kids today are missing some of that. Because all their guns have to be neon. None of them can even remotely look real. And don't get me wrong, I do understand some of the reasoning behind it. Okay, I do get that, but I'm telling you right now, if I was a kid and I got a neon gun, the first thing I'd do is paint it black. and
sure.
I'd be out in the woods all day, all day. I mean, let's look at a couple of things here. Like, tell me if you got this, you wouldn't be out in the woods with your neighbor tomorrow. Like, if you gave this to me tomorrow, I'd be out there. I'd go get my neighbor from across the street, and we'd be playing in the woods.
Yeah.
And then you had things like this, the first swappable clip in a play gun.
Yep, I remember
was
that.
Rambo.
Is that the water gun?
So no, this is the one that ran rat-a-tat-tat.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, because I think they also had the AK, and and that AK was a pretty good sized AK-47, and I took an empty paper towel holder, painted it black, and used electrical tape, and basically put a grenade launcher on the end of my AK.
Nice.
That's fancy.
Yeah.
Rambo 3 style. There you go.
And then
put
ran up and down the streets.
It.
Ran up and down the streets yelling Wolverine.
Oh,
nice.
Oh man, was that not
taking it to the Soviets?
Yeah.
Yep.
As a kid, did you not think that was coming for you? Like,
I was ready for it.
Yep. I mean, this was the kind of stuff that we were given as kids, and we loved every second of it. Every second of it, you know. But let me slide over here.
They had an RPG that was a water. I want to say there was an RPG water cannon or something from that line, I think.
Yep. There was definitely an RPG. They had an M60.
Yeah.
That had the belt fed. It was wild, but kids get. And we wonder why kids don't want toys and they're just going to be on their computer. Because you know what they're doing on their computer? They're playing Call of Duty.
Call of Duty, Battlefield. Yep.
Battlefield. My kids, that's what they're doing right now as we speak. They're probably siphoning off a lot of my internet right now. But, so the military thing was huge because in our mind, I know in my mind, a lot of that stuff was very real, like Sunbow, what was in the comics, all of that stuff had to be based on something. It had to be close, right? It had to be close. So that's what we will be discussing tonight. How close was it? So I thought we'd start with the obvious, right? Vehicles. And what we're going to do is we're going to play a little game called Is This Real? They're playing a Silent Bob on Fortnite.
If he dies, he dies.
If he that's how we were brought up.
Yep.
Danny, what's up?
Yes.
Oh.
You brought it to school? Man, did they clang together when you got on the bus or what? Yeah.
So we were talking about the magazine thing earlier. So like I did order the one with the screw off cap, and like I think I said on the last podcast, my dad confiscated a lot of weapons over the years, which was so funny to me because my dad was a career Navy man, and I'm like, bro, you're already in the first line against Russia. Like, why are you not letting me blossom? And he took the knife and he was like, because Danny made it, and he's like, what are you gonna do with this anyway? Why do you need this? And I was like, I looked at him dead in the eye and I was like, kill Russians? And my mother's just like, I think my mother probably later told him like, this is because of you and the movies. We should have never got cable or whatever.
Yeah.
Back when people had a choice and they could say no to cable, now that's like, too bad, you're getting cable or you have no channels.
Yep.
Back when we were the remote.
Yeah.
Did anybody else have the set top where you had to press the buttons?
Yep.
I didn't know what my first name was until I was 18. I thought it was change the channels.
So our first one is one of the first vehicles, put out, or the first big vehicles, because this thing was
83.
huge. This
Yep.
thing was huge.
This was
I know.
Christmas gift level.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it came with so many options, right? Like, so you had like the parachute, you could chuck him around. You had, the sweeping wings, you had the landing gear, you had all kinds of missiles. I mean, this thing was amazing.
The bomb.
The bomb. And of course, Top Gun and all that stuff was at that time. So yeah, that was a real thing.
Came out in 83 and, before Top Gun, but we had the Final Countdown, which featured the Nimitz and the VF-84, Jolly Rogers.
Mm-hmm.
Going back in time.
Those scenes from that movie, and I've listened to a few of those podcasts of those one of those pilots that they almost bit the dust. You actually you see it in that movie, making a dive down toward the water. But anyway, yeah, F-14.
Yeah. My uncle was in the Navy and on an aircraft carrier that had F-14s. And I was always like, did you get to fly one? He's like, I'm not a pilot. I was like, did you get to fly one? What did they smell like?
That was
like a new car.
That was the interesting thing, though, right? Like anyone could fly a Sky Striker. Like
even
if you were
no helmet necessary. Just jump in that thing. Get after it.
It was better. Yeah, it was better if you didn't, because then we can't see your face.
You could hear better. You could hear each other in the cockpit better if you didn't have all that messy headphones and visor for the sun.
You can hear other people talking in other planes, even.
Yeah,
that's true.
From the enemy side. Yeah,
they talk smack through the cockpits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can talk.
Maybe they're
to
on
each
an
other.
open channel.
Yeah.
It was like the Smack Talk channel. They were like, go to Smack Talk 2. And they were like, what's up? What's up, Destro? Your head's too shiny, What
are you doing?
Hey, that hurts.
The thing I found interesting was the Ace had to look like an astronaut in order to fly one of these things. Like we knew, even back then, we knew better. We were like,
right.
This? What is this?
Well, it kind of nullified Ace to do anything else on the ground, kind of like Deep Six, right? It's like, okay, great. Now, if I don't put this guy in the plane, he's useless.
Yeah,
and the cartoon is telling me the exact opposite. So what's going on here?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. So how about the Wolverine? Do we think this was real or fake?
It's real. It's based on the MLRS system, multiple launch rocket system. But CoverGirl would be inside a box, not sticking her pretty face out of a turret.
So this was the one that the designers based it on. No missiles, but this is a very real thing. But yes, you're right. So it was a combination of the two.
Recoilless rifles. That's a load of them too.
That is
I'm
going to repeat what Arnold told the Predator. That is one ugly mother.
Yeah. That is insane. Oh, here we go. Danny's got a hot take.
I'm gonna go with him on that. I'm in his camp.
I
was like that.
And also I couldn't get the toy, so I was mad about that. So.
Me neither, but I had a friend that had it, and I didn't like Ace. I thought he looked like the Michelin Man.
Yeah. I never had it, but
hey, there he is.
There's big time James.
Yeah. I mean,
I need one
like
of them.
Go ahead.
Dude, I need one of them to squirrel hunt with.
Yeah. Get a bunch.
Girl.
If this shows up, isn't it kind of like game over at that point?
Yeah. If you're in the infantry and that shows up and you're in a building, like it's just time to go.
It's check, please.
Yeah. You're like, look at them and you go, okay, so if you're gonna go like that, then fine, we're leaving. But you didn't have to take it that far.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
We were
Calm
just having
down,
fun.
bro. I was kidding.
You could have just asked us to leave.
Mobat. Mobat?
I
Anyone?
will say it. I will
Yeah.
say it was real.
It was similar to
Yes.
the was it the Sherman? Was it based
The
off of
M60 M60A1?
M60A1? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Very real.
Big old searchlight on the front of a tank saying, "Here I am.
Yeah.
Fire here."
Yeah.
Just one of those.
There you go.
I would love to have a Sherman tank just for kicks and giggles.
Fun. Did you like the movie Tank?
Oh, I loved it. That was a
It
great.
was pretty entertaining.
Mhm.
It was entertaining. Great movie.
Also, another good episode of the MASH episode where they put a tank in the camp, and Potter ends up shooting the Jeep after Frank Burns runs it over like a horse.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yes.
They ended up running it into the ammo dump or something, or the trash pit, and it gets blowed up.
The interesting thing about the M60 is it came out with Joe's as a Mobat about the time the M1 Abrams was being fielded. And but the Marine Corps, who always gets the Army's leftovers and has the smaller budget, they ran the M60 for quite a while, and they were running like four tank platoons of the M60. Meanwhile, the Army's over here with these M1s that can go like 45 miles per hour before you take the governor off the engine, and they can just sail through the Germany highways getting to the Fulda Gap to stop the Russians that never came. So
Yep. All right. Moving along, we've got the Mauler. Yes.
You kind of showed us a picture.
I did.
You did give us a cheat on that. I would have said no had I not seen that picture. So you would have gotten on that one.
There is a picture of this in one of the Joe books somewhere. I can't remember what, but I would. What are those called? But yeah, that's where I've seen this at.
So
even
let's see. So this was the high survivability test vehicle. So it never actually showed up, but it was something that they were working on at the time, right before. I'm guessing this is between the Abrams and everything before it.
It's even got the not the tripod, but the thing to hold up the cannon. Where people are now 3D printing them for your Mauler in case the thing just kind of is floppy.
Yep. I'm wondering if this was influenced by the fact that, again, my vehicle nerdism is going to come out here in this episode, but the Merkava, I may be saying that wrong. The Israelis made a tank that was a lower silhouette than the M1 Abrams to combat the Israeli tanks that they were always to combat the Russian tanks they were always dealing with by Arab nations. Plus, their tank could hold 6 guys in the back or a mortar. And this has the silhouette of a Merkava. So I'm wondering if the U.S. was like, well, maybe we should dabble in that. And then they just realized they already had a good tank and they should stop spending their money.
So it was like lower profile, you said?
Yes, they basically, the way a Soviet tank works is it doesn't have a loader. It's an auto loader, and it has a 3-man crew, which means less space. Of course, if the auto loader takes a dump, then your tank becomes basically a big paperweight that can't do anything but ram a car. Merkava, thank you, still a big kid. And the silhouette on a Soviet tank was very low, so they could be in a defilade position dug in, or they were basically harder to hit on the move. And also their strategy was to run everything from their oldest T-55 to the newest T-80 and just overwhelm us with targets, which didn't really work in the Gulf War because we just shot them all. So,
Yep, indeed. But this is available in the classified scale until April 15th, I believe, through Rowdy Toys. Yes. Rowdy Toys is doing a version of this in Army Green.
Oh, nice.
Which it's very difficult for me right now. I am fighting an inner demon right now.
Do any of you
disease
remember seeing the M1 Abrams in green camouflage before it went all desert color?
No.
Yes. It was impressive.
Yeah.
I was going to say Uncle Clutch had to have. He'd be like, I saw it in person.
Oh, I would walk by the tank motor pools. I never was allowed in there as an infantryman, but I would just like, ooh, that's nice. What's that like? I'd be like, he'll be like, what does that smell like in there?
Can I lick it?
Yeah.
I did get to ride in the commander's hatch of a Bradley once, as I was like coming back from a range, and they let me sit up there, and I put the vehicle crewman's helmet on, and I was just like, man, I felt like I was Patton going into Bastogne on that thing. So I was like, man, as an infantryman, you're like barely lucky if you ride in a Humvee or a truck. So sitting at the top of that Bradley and like at a fort where there was no danger at all, I was just like, but no, they don't give free joy rides in the tank, unfortunately.
There you go. For a figure customizer, Uncle Clutch has a lot of information.
Danny, I have seen some shit. So
I've seen some this week. Literally. Did I send you that picture, Joe? Okay, I'll save that for later.
Okay, cool. Well, one of the things that I was always astounded by, whether it was the fact that there is a similar, like, almost like, how like Disneyland like pumps smells into different things in order to, like, I always found, like, whenever I was on a base or somewhere, like, it all smelled the same. Like, it all smelled the same. I mean, I was just like, whether it was a barracks, an office, a garage area, like, it was all the same.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering if how does the U.S. military accomplish that? I don't know. I guess maybe it's their cleaning products or something, I guess.
Very carefully.
Yeah.
Ancient secrets.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dukey's right. That's probably what it is.
That's got to be it.
It could be the smell of despair. I don't know.
when this beauty came out, go ahead, Joe. Real or not real? We all know it.
Yeah.
Everybody knows this one.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm such a fan of the SR-71 when I was a kid to this day. Just speed. And this thing just in all of its glory.
It captured your imagination because you knew. I mean, I think that it had just become declassified, within, what was that, within 5 years of when this had come out. But I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And wasn't there a movie with Clint Eastwood called Firefox or something like that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. If anyone could just go steal a Soviet plane, it's Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
Indeed. Well, and the fun fact about these planes are that they are leaky when they are not good until they hit their max speed.
Yep. And they have to refuel immediately after takeoff.
Yep. Because everything's leaking.
Yep.
Because everything's leaking.
That's safe, right?
Yeah.
It's on the ground. It's afterburners or getting ready to kick in during takeoff, and it's leaking.
I mean,
that plane was our middle finger to the world, though. Like, we're going to sail over your country and take pictures, and you can't do a damn thing about it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Just think what they would have now since they've retired that.
I don't know if it's as pretty. Evil Dookie just said it's the Harley Davidson of the skies. I think that's a very good statement. Yeah.
Yes.
That is a beautiful machine.
There's the rumors of the 72 possibly, but it has to get passed and go through all that stuff. And it's supposed to be hypersonic. Yeah. I'll believe it when I see it.
Well, and
it'll be cool too, though.
it's not past any military organization now to just make something out of paper mache and park it on a tarmac and be like,
Yeah.
like, no, it's real. Go ahead, prove me wrong. It's like the vamp.
Yes.
I feel like this is a trick question.
It is.
I did a little prep for the show, so I have a thought on
Uncle
this one.
Clutch. Yeah.
This is like a hybrid between a Willys and a Humvee.
Yeah.
Made by Lamborghini.
God
Eric?
dang, the vamp is so much better looking than those two things right there.
Yeah.
Isn't it though? Like,
I would agree.
It's just, you know what it is? It's the laser cannon that really does it.
Yeah.
Like all of these armaments are hideous compared
like
to that.
Well, it's that he can run it remote controlled from inside, because we didn't get that till the Striker vehicle. That was once the 6-wheeled or 8-wheeled. I don't remember how many wheels. Dookie, back me up on this. The Striker has the vehicle's weapon always had to be manned, whereas now you can use a TV set and run it from inside. Which, hey, isn't that so much simpler and smarter and safer to just be like, we were just talking about kids playing Call of Duty. Well, guess what? I'm going to swivel this 50 cal over and light you up while I'm still inside this armored bathtub.
And I would say, if I would find one of them like at a junkyard or something, I would be so tempted to snag that bad boy and paint it Joe green
on the beach.
Yeah. I would rock that.
That almost looks like the cannon from the Ferret.
Yeah. I'd be the coolest hillbilly driving a 4-wheel drive Lambo.
Let's go in on one, Eric.
Let's do it. I have it on the weekends.
Now, Evil Dookie, are you on Instagram or? Yeah.
Yes.
This was so cool. As a kid, I never had one. I never owned one.
Oh, you were missing out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my first
that
big
thing
deal.
was friggin' cool.
I had 2 of them and I wore them both out.
At the same time? Like you had like
no,
dual dragonflies?
I wore
That'd
one
be awesome.
out. I got one in 83, I believe.
Yep.
I wore it out. And then I got another one and I wore it out.
Bell AH-1 Cobra.
Yep.
I've heard stories of them from Vietnam.
And now
which the Marines used again for a long time past its prime, while the Army was using the Apache.
Yep. Well, and
that is.
So is it also the Navy that uses it now, or is it just the Marines only on Navy ships? Which is called the Viper. It's called a Viper now.
Yeah, that's right. The Marines are using them in what they call Viper teams, probably the Bell Super Cobra, which is basically just like a parts kit where they upgrade it. The Marines don't really give up a lot of stuff as far as product, unless it just, continual. I guess the V-22 Osprey, which keeps crashing, they're going to keep that, which I'm not a full favor of. But
that thing.
But yes, those Cobras have been around for a long time. I never saw anyone ride on the skids like the Joes did, which I was like, why not? I mean, you're safe. You're below the rotor blades. Put a couple of handles on here. Hold on. Watch out for the Hellfire missiles right behind you, and you're good.
Yep.
I'd try it.
Yeah, you probably would.
I'd have a string behind me, but I'd try it. I have my own vapor trail.
Yeah, this is very cool. How about the Hiss? The Hiss tank?
I would say no.
No.
Okay.
No. But that one tank that you showed us with the one for the Wolverine, that tank tread looks similar.
Yeah.
It didn't have I don't know what you call those in the tanks, but the 2 wheels.
Bogey wheels.
Bogey wheels. It didn't have 2 of them up front, but it was triangular.
Yeah. So
if he pulls up If you pull up a Hiss tank picture in real life, I'm done.
I was going to say, not at the time, not when we were kids, but the closest thing to the hiss is the how and how.
The who and what?
The how and how. This is called the Ripper. And this thing moves. It is built for speed.
It looks fun.
Didn't The
So
Rock drive that in the Joe movie?
Yep.
Yes. But you can buy this for the bargain price of over $300,000 if you're
I'll
so
take
inclined.
2.
Yeah. So this one is not real, but they're trying. But I guarantee you, I could throw a turd on there.
You
I've
can get that in
got
112 and try to put Joe's in it, but I hear the modifications are tough. So
Mhm.
you send that to Dookie and have him start drilling on it.
I was gonna say Dookie's the man on this one. Yeah,
Tell him I want
would.
twin 50 cals and I want Joe's to be able to be in the cockpit. Make it happen.
Yeah. I would definitely kill Dozer the hell out of this thing. I definitely would do that. If I had Ripper money, kill Dozer would be next for sure. MOSs. So this is where we get a little interesting. We've got a couple of easy ones here. We've got Torpedo, Navy SEAL. We all know, like as kids, gosh, when was the Navy SEALs movie out? Was that like 89 or 90?
90, I think.
Michael Bean, Charlie Sheen, man, that movie did a lot for them. They got a lot of recruits from that.
Yep. Yeah. But yeah, Torpedo was the first SEAL. There you go. And ripsaws are real. Nope, they are. They're just stupid expensive. And Blowtorch, who was his MOS was retired right after WW2.
Yep.
And then you've got go ahead.
I feel like he ticked someone off to get that red and yellow outfit.
Yeah, like I don't know, man.
Hey,
Jets in the chat.
Yeah. Even in the cartoon, he never fired on people. It was always like he would burn up like crates next to it, and like crates would fall on people. You're like, just be who you are.
Yeah, just burn them out. Like they said, Saving Private Ryan. Don't shoot them, let them burn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just send it. Just send it. Be who you are.
Be who you are. There you go. I like that.
Their life expectancies whenever they went into like the Pacific was like 5 minutes whenever they get off the landing craft.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, if Cobra had half the dedication of the Japanese naval infantry, Blowtorch wouldn't have made it.
No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. And then you got the MPs with their dogs.
You can make some pork chop sandwiches, though.
Any MP I ever met was not wearing a red T-shirt and a blue vest.
So I don't know if we have any MPs in the chat, but I'm just going to tell you, as a former infantryman, both in the Marine Corps and in the Army, MPs are not loved, they're not liked, and they're often beat up.
Oh.
We don't like their kind.
Yeah.
So any MPs that are in the chat, you should be offended by that because we're offended by your existence. All right. Peace. Peace has been made.
He has spoken his piece. He is
now the dog I got no issue with. The dog's cool. We'll take your dog after we beat you up and we'll make him our unit dog. That's all good. And a bomb sniffing and or active canine who can do like aggressive enforcement, we're okay with the dog. The dog, no issues.
Yeah.
Pony fives. They're just always killing fun.
Oh no, there you go. Yeah, he
was in charge of their transport.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I can't say that I've met an MP that had a good sense of humor. or was even remotely sociable. I mean, maybe
figure.
amongst themselves, but so the interesting thing about MOSs is they have a code for every job. Every job. So like, uh legal paralegal, they have a code for. They have, the guy that is an HVAC technician. This is an extra special MOS.
Ninja.
I bet you this guy wishes he was.
Huh.
Man, that's a heck of a cannon there.
That is he's
Oh,
got a rough
oh,
MOS.
oh.
That guy's got a heck of a set of lungs, you know.
I
But
mean,
I see
look,
he's got a. But look, I see he's got a Screaming Eagles 101st Airborne, and if I'm looking at the picture right, it's oriented on his right shoulder, which means that he went to combat with that unit. So he may have become a
yes.
tuba player after. So he's just a former badass who decided, hey, I want to play the tuba.
Yeah, but
You
like,
know?
you know what? I did that. Do you have a tuba?
Right.
He's the first one to jump out of the plane with the tuba.
Yeah.
He's the guy you make a poster of and say, this guy took out a bunch of your people, and don't you feel bad about yourselves? And you drop those leaflets, and it's just total psych warfare there.
I give this guy mad respect because he absolutely right now he's doing this completely out of spite. It's just, like, no, I mowed down an entire group, and now I'm playing the tuba. Yeah.
Doogie says that 101 doesn't jump. They haven't since. Yes, they just jump out of their heads.
Yeah. There you go.
Nice.
Yeah, but I mean they do. They have MOSs for everything. And it's nothing more than a pay code is really what that boils down to. I mean, um, unless you're making a YouTube video about stolen valor, odds are a lot of people are like, it is what it is. So, let's see, what are we doing here? So I guess maybe we can talk a little bit about who your favorite Joes and vehicles were, and talk a little bit about how realistic they ended up. Wes, I know you sent me some pictures and stuff. Maybe you want to kind of segue into some of that a little bit. I don't know how we can segue to it, but maybe we can get there.
The MMS one?
Nope, the map.
Oh, yeah, the map. Okay. So the map was just
It's
how
this
we
guy right here.
Yeah, how we got into GI Joe or just military in general as kids, with plastic Rambo assault rifle units, taking them to school and all that stuff as a kid, riding up and down the streets of small towns or where I grew up at, and yelling Wolverine on three-wheelers, right? And we're always preparing, thinking that we were going to be better than our parents. And then where I lived in Kansas, there was always I was always just fascinated with aircraft. Still to this day,
Mm-hmm.
if anything's flying over, I'll just stop and look up and spot it, even if it's a Cessna. I just want to see it up there flying. Living in Kansas in the 80s, it was we had SAC out of McConnell Air Force Base during the Cold War, and it was I want to say they housed right now they house the tankers, the KC 135s. 135s. But back then it was F4s and B-52s. And there's a bombing range up north in the northern part of Kansas, but I would see daily B-52s getting refueled in the air. And you can always tell, I could anyway, even as a kid, the difference between an airliner flying by, at 30,000 feet versus a stratotanker or a B-52 by itself. It's just, a lower, louder rumble in the sky. So I would always look up and try to spot it, and usually did a pretty good job of it. And it was really cool to see those things fueling up. And then later in the 80s, I saw the B-1, the B-1 bombers, B-1Bs. And then in the 90s, it was the B-2, the stealth, getting refueled. Every once in a while, I saw some F-4 Phantoms getting refueled too. But I saw this map, and there, that's the map of the United States, and it's the refueling tracks and the anchor parts of it. And like right over Kansas, there was a big back and forth of refueling going on. I was like, that completely makes sense on why I saw so many things getting refueled back in the day. And I mean, still to this day, this happens, and then even as a kid, I got one of these books that, this is a book I got back in 86. And, it's just filled with, let's see what it's going to open up to. Oh, the aardvark. All right. So, I don't know, just growing up with GI, that just enthralled me in even more with GI Joe.
Yeah. I think for me, once I realized who my grandfather was, he was a tunnel gunner. He flew out of the Aleutian Islands in World War II. And he was in the Navy, and he bought me Jane's Fighting Ships, which was at the time a very expensive book. It was huge, but it told you everything about the ships at the time.
Yeah.
And I think that the interest in the military went beyond and Uncle Clutch said it best, when you're looking at movies like Navy SEALs and all these things, it's like, okay, how quickly can I get to MEPS? Like, how quickly can I get there? And believe me, the recruiter in Hackensack was like, let me show you. But it was an interesting time because we were flooded with, I wouldn't say maybe the glorification, but just it actually elevated the military to a status that I think that they deserve, which is, people who are ready to go at a moment's notice to take on enemies, foreign, domestic. And when we saw this in GI Joe, we saw almost like the Hollywood version, the glorified version. And but we also on occasion got to see the backroom stuff, right? Like we got to see how the sausage gets made. I feel like the 80s was such a time where the forward momentum was, we were facing down Russia, we had all these enemies, and we needed, this was the most you could aspire to, would be the military. I was a believer in that. I mean, I don't know how you all felt, but I mean, I know how Uncle Clutch felt, but like, how did that speak to you personally? Maybe we'll start with Uncle Clutch.
I really believe that the military-industrial complex was real. I'm not really big on some conspiracies, but I think that one wasn't really so much as a conspiracy as they were pretty out with it. I mean, movie shows, magazines, books. I had the Jane's book on tanks and armored vehicles, so I could identify all the vehicles that would be thrown at me through the Fulda Gap in Germany, all the way over in Rhode Island. So you had Red Storm Rising, you had role playing games that had this, and I think that they were conditioning. You had Cub Scouts that were being run by military guys as the leaders. You had ROTC, which I was a part of in high school. You had it in college, and they were really ramping up during that time. You had speeches being made by politicians, and I think they were basically. And I'll tell you straight up, like I think if we had went head to head with Russia, I think they would have gotten their asses handed to them. I think they would have rolled through Germany. I think they would have gotten a little bit into France, and that would have been us sucking them into basically, as Colonel Hannibal Smith would have said, a classic pincer movement. And I think they would have seen what motivated Americans can do. And we knew that we were fighting conscripts, soldiers who basically had no choice but to work in a factory. And I read a lot about the Spetsnaz and the Soviet military and their conditions of living. They were not good. U.S. soldiers as privates lived like kings compared to a lot of other countries' militaries. And we saw what a large military did in the Gulf War, which they basically just surrendered. And I think it's only a matter of time before Iran realizes they're going to get knocked on their heels. But I think that, G.I. Joe, the point I wanted to make about our gear and MOSs tonight is not just the stuff that mimicked it, but the stuff that mimicked the fantasy. So I made some notes here. Like some of the things we didn't mention was the jump jet, the Uzi used by Snake Eyes, the crossbow used by Scarlet, the laser used by Flash and the HAL and everything. The stuff that didn't, where was that coming from? Well, that was mimicked in the movie Delta Force with Chuck Norris. Some reality, some fantasy. Bond movies, jetpacks, lasers. American Ninja, guys climbing a Snake Eyes, goes to train. He's an American. So it was all intertwined, right? It was, that's how I say, it was a conspiracy, but it wasn't one really to hurt anybody. It was just, it all just spiderweb together to be what a lot of us grew up with. Even people who didn't serve, like they pretty much would have been like, where do I need to go and what do I need to do? Because they had that patriotism and that backbone of, if someone tries to hurt my country, then that's not going to be okay. And I think the last time we saw that was September 12th. They call that the September 12th mentality. And, there are some people who say we need to get that back. And I don't know that I want the same thing to happen, but I agree. I think everyone was shaking hands across every aisle there was. And everyone was just saying, you're an American, I'm an American. We just got kicked in the balls. And that's not going to happen again. And I think that kind of reminds me of when we were coming up as kids of it. And I think, Joe, you had said like better than our parents, like, or it might've been Wes, but like, basically we were ready to back our parents up. Like my dad was a full on Navy man. And if I had to like go figure out how to make a slingshot work against somebody, like I was going to have his back. And you're young enough and dumb enough to not worry about the consequences. So, the toys just played into the lore of the time. And it's interesting that you brought up at the beginning of the podcast about how they are now, because that's not there. Like we used to play war in the woods. We used to play guns. We used to play A-Team. We used to play Vietnam. We used to do all these things, and we would just, manipulate these real life things into our games as kids. Imagination and just saying like, this is just how we play. And nowadays that almost might seem like, I hate to use the word toxic, but I don't think so. Like if two kids are outside screaming their heads off outside, I look at Lady Spartan and I go, cool, they're outside playing. I like that. And I don't care that they're screaming. I can deal with it. I'm glad they're coloring on the sidewalk with chalk. I'm glad they're throwing sticks at each other, whatever. Wreck ships, right. So I think, I think like once we got towards the 90s, that's when the stuff kind of went really left field. But I did like that Cobra's vehicles had all the imagination in the world. So like Destro and Cobra could make whatever and it would work. And we had no idea where it came from. And we had no idea how to counter it. It was like, what's Cobra showing up with today? A 3-bubble helicopter with 2 blades. Oh, okay. Well, we're just going to fight. Or a helicopter where there's no cockpit and the guy's just got no glasses on or nothing. So anyway, that's my 14 cents on. Yeah, a Mamba. Exactly. Eric just had one off camera. So
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy, the Rudats, and the team at Hasbro designing the Joe vehicles. I'm sure they had a lot more fun coming up, like you said, with the Cobra vehicles, because they, at least in the early days of Joe, very modern, very similar to what the U.S. already had, or somewhere in the world that had. And it was still cool, but I think that's why a lot of us like Cobra vehicles better. But just because it's just more science fiction, and blue, and not like a
blue,
bright
white,
blue.
red, gray, anything but camouflage.
Yeah,
that's all they said. They said just don't make it green. Cobra Commander is like, why is this green? I don't like it. Do it again.
Yep.
I almost feel like when we were kids, we were allowed a level of freedom, whether it was by design or just out of necessity, because they say Gen X was the generation that kind of raised ourselves a little bit, and we had more freedoms, and now we've got like I wish I want my kids to go outside. I'm like, but I'm also to blame because, I'm like, be careful. There was my dad was working, my mom was a stay-at-home mom, but by the same token, it was like, get outside and I don't want to see you until it's dark. That was the edict.
Yeah, because you're bugging the crap out of your mom. She just, get out of my hair.
Yeah, like I want to play Zelda, like get the hell out of here, right? But I think that is missing, because we do take so much responsibility for our kids now. It's almost to their own detriment.
Yeah.
Where they can't explore, they can't imagine. It's so regimented that this is what is expected, and I don't want you to have to suffer like I suffered. Like, no, like I'm almost to the point now where I have teenage boys. The rest of my kids are on their way out or grown. And those teenage boys, I'm like, my God, the one kid I took to a bushcraft camp, because I'm like, you need to get outside, brother. You need to see, like, this is grass, that's some leaves over there, we can make a bed out of this, like, and he loved
that's the wrong type of grass.
Yeah, like, and but he loved every second of it, and I'm like,
good.
What did I as a parent do wrong right now? Like, that you can't, I don't want to veer off into the political, but my gosh, like, I want to, like, give him the DVDs to, like, the Sunbow episodes and be like, okay, don't come out of your room until you've watched every one of these, and then, like, like, here's a bunch of plastic guns, go have fun, like.
Yeah. Oh, I remember growing up going to GC Murphy's. Is a 5 and 10 store. It was in Spencer, and they'd have a wall of, like, rifles. They had a bolt action, they had a muzzleloader, they had all these. They had lever action, and I was like, ooh. I always liked the bolt action rifle because it felt like the movies that my dad watched, the John Wayne movies, the war movies. And I'm like, ooh, I like that. But I never did get one. But I had several cap guns, and I was deadly with them. How many of you all would shoot a cap gun, run that wheel of caps out, and pull it out and smell it?
Oh, yeah. You didn't have to pull it out to smell it. You could just smell it from firing so much. Or taking a hammer taking a hammer to that roll of caps and just bam, bam.
I was going to say drop a rock on it, but yes, same difference.
It smelled, it was like heaven.
Yeah.
And now for me, shooting a black powder rifle, which I absolutely love black powder rifles. Shooting one of them, I told my wife, I was like, if they make beard oil that smelled like black powder residue,
you'd wear it. You'd wear it.
Yeah. Because it smells like a man. But
Yes,
Kids,
that
I think part of it is that we were out there all the time, and now that the world has changed, we know what's out there. We know it's not like the Goonies anymore, or
Mhm.
Adam's Family, or whatever, and we're scared that our kids are going to get in trouble physically. I mean,
yeah.
you have the Epstein list that dropped. You have all these other things, and I'm like,
Yeah.
good grief, what happened? But
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot more helicopter parents out there now.
yeah, being
Yeah.
sheltered here in the mountains of West Virginia, I never knew of like human trafficking and stuff like
Yeah.
that. My mom and
No, I
dad's
mean,
like, if somebody grabs you, they'll bring you back whenever they have to feed you.
Yep. No, like it's a very different world. Things move so fast and they have access to so much more than we did, right? Like we
Mhm.
didn't like my kids don't wait for the paper. They're like, I just Googled it, Chat GPT
Hmm.
told me this. Like, you know,
Yeah.
it,
Can
it,
you?
it
Yeah, it's
moves
like, can you
fast.
get around without using your phone? Can you drive to another city, find a place of business, and be able to get there without using Google Maps and do it the
Mhm.
old-fashioned way? And that's I still love maps. Going on vacations and stuff, using the Ram McNally that my dad would just hand me in the back seat. He's like, "Where do I need to make my next turn?" So
Mhm.
evil Dookie.
Evil Dookie, welcome to Sunday Funday.
Hey, buddy.
Where, where it's a bunch of old men complaining about how things used to be.
Yeah,
Back in my day,
back in my day, Sonny.
Back in my day.
Nice to meet you,
Can
Mr.
you hear
Dookie.
us? I don't know if he can hear us.
He may not be able
I
to.
got you now.
There you
Oh,
are.
okay. There you
Hey,
go.
it's a Christmas
I was going to
miracle.
say, welcome to the old man's group.
G.I. Joe 66 Delta
Appreciate,
said he
appreciate you
four
having
Sky
me.
Strikers.
Yeah. I mean, the Sky Strikers.
Huh.
So the Skyhawks, I always used to like that was my favorite thing
Yep.
when I was a kid because number one, I could own it because it was small and it wasn't as expensive as some of the other things. But
Mhm.
Right?
it used to be called amongst our group of friends the Flying Coffin because it was not aerodynamic whatsoever. There was nothing about it that was even remotely close to feasible. Um, but I think that if I was to design a toy line for kids today, I don't even know where I would start. Like I would just have to go back to the basics of what we grew up with and be like, man, this was fun.
Mhm.
Because I don't think that those principles are any different today.
It's got to be an easier job to be sitting in the boardroom saying what you're going to design for us than for
Yeah.
kids. You know what I mean? Like if you're
Yeah.
trying to say, well, we want, Uncle Clutch and Evil Dookie to spend this much money this year. So this is what we're proposing. And they're like, well, show us your market research. And they're like, look, we know these dudes are going to buy this stuff.
Yeah.
Here's the evidence. But if you try to say, like, we've got this new line of dolls for little girls, they're going to go, I don't know. They don't really like
Yeah.
dolls anymore. Come back with something new. Is it digital? And they're going to be like, no, you get this kit and then you can get these. No, like I would not want to be a toy executive or even on a design team today unless I was only dealing with a certain adult group that I could count on. And like we are, like I said, we're able to be counted on for certain things because we have the
Mhm.
disposable income and we have the interest. If you don't have
Yeah.
those two things, you're dead in the water with that idea.
We have
Well,
adult money.
Yeah, we do have adult money, and it's scary as hell because
Mhm.
and I know this makes Rexship like he absolutely loses his mind when I talk about this, but Uncle Clutch and I kind of bonded over the fact that like I like the Green Army guys. Why? Because that is what got me into the lines. That's what excited me was because Army guys were green. They had camo paint and they lived in the woods and They had really cool, vehicles like the armadillo, and that's there he is. I knew that would bring him right back into the fold here.
A lot of angry faces.
Yeah, man, that's just because he wants a dinosaur. He wants his dinosaur guy.
Yep. And eco
But
warriors.
yeah, I mean, like Evil Dookie, like you create a lot of things now. Do you like where is it the spaces in between where Hasbro's not hitting, or is it like where do you draw your inspiration from?
It's kind of funny because a lot of my stuff that I'm going towards with Knott County is all biker lifestyle from when I lived for 8 years, wearing a patch. But honestly, that 7-year-old that's in there comes up with so many damn ideas. Like, he'll see me doing stuff out here. Like, when I was doing different things on the table, whatever, he's like, hey, try this. Hey, why don't you do this? You should change this. So a lot of the stuff actually comes from him.
That's awesome.
Nice. That's cool. Like, I think that given the opportunity, every generation, like I don't feel like we're that different from the previous generation. I think that what we do is we make them different, right? Like we have to accept a certain amount of responsibility as parents and say, like I did that to you. Like I gave you a computer and then, I went to work. Like it's kind of like for better or for worse, my father raised two children. One turned out one way, one turned out a very different way. The one that he was harder on, the one that he kind of was like, you do you, you can pay your own way, but just do whatever you want to do, turned out one way, and the one that he coddled turned out another way. And I fear that that's what we're doing. Every generation wants to see the next generation do better than they did. But I think in some ways, by not letting them go through the trials, by taking away their right to play with, toy guns and this, that, and the other thing, I think we're doing a disservice to them because we're taking away their ability to fend for themselves a little bit. And I think that's where we can do better, and where these companies need to do better. Like I like a lot of the other lines because they do things differently, because maybe they are a little more hardcore, because they have a little more imagination. I like customizers. I'm starting like this year because of the way pricing is going. If I'm going to spend a bunch of money, it's going to be with like Uncle Clutch or somebody like that, because they're doing something different and they're not repainting the same crap over and over and over. How do you feel about the direction? Because I know Classified started out pretty rough. Like they came out with like Disco Roadblock, and I was like, I don't care about Disco Roadblock. I'm sorry, that's not my roadblock. My guy's green in camo. He's got a tank top and a Modus. Whatever he came out with the first time around, he looked like he was ready to go to the club. Not my roadblock.
Yeah, my kid already told me when he saw, because he watches I'll show him all the reveals and every time they come on, and he saw the damn dino. As soon as I saw that, I was like, man, I know what's coming. He's like, Daddy, he's like, I don't want a troop build, but I want to troop build those. I'm like, okay, I'll get you 2 of them. So to him, that's troop building.
Yeah. It's hard. Especially with the way pricing is going now. Classified is not doing themselves any favors with what they're doing. But so what do you think, Uncle Clutch, about some of the newer characters? Do you think that they need to press forward with the old stuff, or keep
I think
trying new
that
stuff, or
I think there's more than enough existing characters where, creating stuff kind of like, like the reveal recently about the ground air crewman. I was like, okay, I see people are excited about the crate, and those are kind of interesting looking. But for me, even though I'm into realistic stuff, I'm kind of almost like, well, I'm still waiting on some stuff to be done. And, why did this supersede 10 other things that not just the 5 people that are on the screen here, but all the people that are in the chat and all the people that are on the other shows and like Savage and everybody else, like if I worked at Hasbro, I'm gonna know about us, right? Like I'm gonna be able to figure out who these people are. And I'm going to be able to go to someone and say, look, I've got market research. I watched this podcast where, 70 of these nerds got together and did this, that, and the other. And I can sell to them. So like
Mhm.
make my idea happen. Because I was told by someone at Joe Lanta, and I live right outside of Atlanta, in a little symposium they did on customizing. He said, it was really hard in the beginning. You had to convince executives who knew nothing about the figures and the lines to back you on something. Okay, I got you. That was the olden days. But now
Mhm.
this is a proven line. So why are we not getting everything we know we want and we know we'll buy? Like we've
Mhm.
got Joe Ara on here who's like going to tell you, I won't buy that because I don't like it. And, but he's going to. And we've got, Dookie who's like, I'm going to get these for my kid, these for me, these to cut up. Eric's going to be like, I don't know if I want one, but I'll grab one. Why not? I don't want to hurt anybody. So it's like, you're going to get sales, so it's like,
Yeah.
I'm a realist, like, I'm just like, hey, I'm not here to do your market research, but I can tell you like, you're probably, if you put out a flash and a grand slam, you're going to probably sell 30,000 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they got
Like
to
this
trickle
isn't
the stuff out. I
right.
mean, that they're doing it
And
smart. They're trickling it, and then sprinkle a new character in here or there, then trickle some more of the old ones. They've got you on a leash. It's like you're fishing.
that's
They're
true.
luring you in nice and slow.
Yep.
That's
And then they're
true.
also trying to get new ones in too.
I do think they probably understand that there's a timeline with this, because for every 7-year-old like Dookie has, there's a bunch of kids who aren't interested. So like they're kind of like the new gems, right? Like they're the ones where like the fathers, the uncles, and even the grandfathers are showing their kids the way. And honestly, even like kind of back to what we were talking about life stuff, is like I am one who's hoping those kids grow up to be our next set of defenders. And I don't just mean like joining the military or law enforcement. I just mean like the people that are going to take up for us as we're an aging populace. Like we always want to say like, well, we got you, America, we got you, family. But as I'm starting to, round the bend in a few more years where I can, see 60 from the hill I'm standing on, I'm going to be a warrior as long as I can, but I want to make sure there's
Mhm.
generations behind us that are going to have values of strength and honor and commitment, and protecting those who can't, won't, or don't know how to protect themselves, especially women, children, old people, and animals. And I feel like that's a lot of what the show was about, right? Like they were like, okay, these Cobra
Yes.
dudes are coming in, like they called Cobra a terrorist organization, but like they had pretty much a whole army. Then they had like a place where they all lived, so it was almost like an enemy nation state. But the thing was, is they were up to no good, and our guys were going to stop them or marginally disrupt them as much as they could.
Yes. No, I absolutely think that's a huge part of the piece to the puzzle, not only just for toys, but I hate getting into to bigger things, but it really is a bigger thing, right? As a society, we have to be able to say strength is not a negative attribute. To your point, if we do not have strong characters in our populace, then who is going to stand up? And that was such a big part of GI Joe growing up. These were a small, very small. I mean, regardless of whether or not they had 500 figures, it was a small group of people that were willing to stand up and say, okay, we're going to do the right thing always, regardless of the consequences. So,
Well, they say, life imitates art, art imitates life. There you go. That's exactly what we're talking about with the show. Grow up and do the right thing. Did everybody have to join the military? No, there's a lot of people that grew up and did great things and had great morals and backbone because of, who they grew up with and what they grew up with.
yes, for sure. For
You
sure.
nailed it right there.
Yep, 100%. And make better toys for less cost.
Yes, I'm seeing the comments on that as well. With the price are too high. I agree with that. They don't need to keep going up. That's for sure.
Yeah. And
Like,
and honestly, I personally don't mind paying a higher price for value, right? So like there's certain things that I purchase that I'm not proud of, right? But I'm a completionist, all right? But then there's other things that I refuse to. Like I'm not going to buy that just uh to go along with it. But I think that that's something that Hasbro GI Joe needs to do. But if they're not going to do it, find your creators, right? Find the people who are doing dreadnoughts, find people that are creating vehicles, find people that are doing things on their own, and support those people. That's what I'm about. I want that creativity. Yeah, Retro Tinker. That's going to be a thing very soon. Very soon.
like
And
I'm not an active classified collector, but
Mhm.
if they would like start putting out like the OG adventure team, I would buy them. If they would do like go into World War II, do like the different branches in World War II and on back,
Mhm.
kind of like they did with the 12-inch figures several years ago, I would probably buy them.
Mhm.
Some one of my biggest heroes in my life was a World War II vet that was in the Army Air Corps in the Pacific,
Mhm.
and I would buy that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
I'm off my soapbox now.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
There's probably a
I
market for
could,
that, I'd say.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's small though. I think the patriotic generation is us, and I think after that it's gone.
Yeah, but
I
like
agree.
Yeah.
the 250th anniversary of the country coming up, and they're doing that classified Duke in like the red, white, and blue. I
Oh,
will I will buy that.
Yeah.
I will
Yeah,
really?
watch you.
do what?
And
I
isn't
will
Super
watch
Seven
you buy it.
and Super Seven's doing four
Yeah,
four of them, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's putrid.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
and
But
it,
hey, buy what you like,
right,
Eric.
right. Well, only reason I would want it, and you know how I feel about Duke.
I
Mhm.
know.
Uh, it's for the anniversary of the country,
Okay.
Yeah.
and the fact that it is that,
Right.
and I
Yeah.
would put it in a case, and then I'd hide it in a box somewhere because every time I'd touch it, my hands would burn.
Just put Flint's head on it.
See, see now, and this is where I diverge, right? Like, if I knew for a fact that the purchase price of a 250th anniversary figure was going towards a veteran's cause, or
Yeah,
to get a veteran a service animal, you know
Hmm.
what?
Yeah.
That thing could sit in a box until I'm dust,
Yep.
and I would purchase it, right? But that's not the case. The money's not going to our country, it's not going to our veterans. And I don't want a Duke that has a Dallas Cowboys rifle. uh I just I can't make that happen in my head. Like, if you gave me a Vietnam Snake Eyes era figure that was a 250th anniversary, and you donated 5% to service animals for veterans, I'll buy 10 of those goddamn things.
that's what I like
Excuse
about
my
these people.
French.
These
Yeah.
people right here, the
Yep.
finest.
Yeah.
Hmm.
They sell these coins at Joe Fest. I think it's $15 a pop, and it goes to help a canine, help a vet. They place a canine with a vet whenever
Yeah.
they get so much money. And
Yeah.
Joe Fest coming up, I'm going to hit these guys up and I'm gonna buy some of these for some of my closer for some of my friends. That way, they're little challenge coins. I'm addicted to them kind of things. Anything I can like. But
I'll have to bring. I think I got like 3 challenge coins left from the firehouse. I'll bring those to Joe Fest, and I'll get you one of those, Eric. Those are special. That's a real challenge coin.
And I got a challenge coin for you wherever we meet.
All right. But
it's a Monster Force one.
I think well, there you go. Scrib said it. You know, has Hasbro ever done a pro veteran item aid for veterans? I don't believe they have. And I think that's a missing thing, right? Because now you would hit people that aren't even interested in toys. Like they don't care. You know, people buy stuff all the time if it's pro veteran. And I think that, you know, that's something that I think is the worst one of the worst things about our country is we don't take care of our veterans the way that they took care of us. And if they did something like that, again, you know, get me a case. You know, I don't care what it is. I'll take a case of whatever that is, as long as it goes, a portion of the proceeds goes to a veteran. You know, if a creator ever came up with something like that, you know, hey, yeah, you're going to pay $100 for this figure, but $15 is going to go to a veteran. Guess what?
Yeah,
my next figures are going to be from that creator.
Yep.
It's just who I am. So
they missed the ball with the legacy. There was an easy way they could have done that. The 250 for the anniversary, they could have done that Revolutionary War, Blue Coat Soldier.
Yep.
And then the legacy ones, they could have done starting with World War I, hit the branches, then World War II, hit the branches, then Korea, then Vietnam, then Desert Storm, then Iraq, / Afghanistan, global war and terrorism.
Yep.
Yes.
That would have been amazing.
Oh, are you kidding me? Like that collection, you know, of each era would be amazing as a collector. Oh my gosh. And you know, that's the roots of the line, right? Like what are we trying to run away from? Like, you know, that's one thing that Hasbro does, like the Cop. You know, we're going to release that at midnight and we're not going to talk about it. Like, really? like that's a signature legacy character, and you released it at midnight with no fanfare. Are you? Why?
Because people love firefighters; they don't love cops.
And they should have done both, male and female.
I'm just saying, people like a voluntary firefighter, but they don't like a voluntary cop. That's all I'm gonna say. All right.
I never got hugs, and I never saved a cat. So you know,
it's like Wreck Ship shit said. It's just that Hasbro's just too afraid for a PR issue.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, which is sad to say. Yes, it is way too freaking sensitive out there nowadays. But just fucking go ahead and do it. You know, who cares about? Whatever. I'm get off my grass.
No, like I see. That's why I like this group, because we're not afraid to say, well, you know, what we think. Like, and it's not. I don't think that it's that political to say. There's this person that put their life. Yeah, there's this person that put their life on the line for us. You know.
Yep.
Let's give something back to that person. You don't have to be for an agenda to say thank you.
Yep. The people who would buy the product are still going to buy the product, and the people who wouldn't are still not going to. So I don't think it would affect the market anymore, except to get more sales from some fence sitters and to get more sales from people like us, which is what Dookie was talking about. Like they missed the boat on this, and this. Clearly he's saying what we would buy. And even if you bought them to display them, you bought them to gift them, you bought them because it was giving to a cause. I've kind of toyed around a little bit myself with like, well, instead of doing a giveaway for my channel, could I afford to do a figure and do like, hey, everybody donate $1 to, the Ranger Foundation and I'll pick a winner that way. I just haven't figured out how to do the logistics of it to where one, it could be 100%, not that it wouldn't be on the up and up, but that people could understand it from their end. Like I have accountability of this, Uncle Clutch guy. But I think that, because like I said, I'm doing this as a hobby. If I have disposable income to buy figures to tear apart, then obviously I've got money for food. Duke and I collaborate a lot of times, sending information back and forth about what we're looking at doing, what we're trying to find, etc. So if I ever get to where I can't do it, well, then that means I'm just concentrating on, my bare bone basics in life. But a lot of times if I send something to somebody who's new in the hobby, which I know you guys do also, and they'll be like, oh my God, that's so nice. And I'm like, bro, don't worry about it. It's like, I'm just paying it forward because there's only so many of us, and it's got a shelf life. It's a long burning fuse to that stick of dynamite to when we move into where our cost priorities are going to change for later in life. And there's only going to be so many people behind us that are going to keep it going, and then it's done. And if I was Hasbro, I would be milking every cent out of us I could while they can. That's why I'm like, who is working there in these positions? It's not any of us. I would love to meet some of their executives and be like, you don't even seem like you'd be in this hobby. Why are you in this job?
And I got
the best way I can explain that is, go ahead.
Sorry,
Eric.
I gotta agree with Danny. I'll stick with the Lord skill, but I digress. I'm off my soapbox now. I apologize.
I was going to say, it's not exactly like Brian Flynn is out there throwing money at any veterans group. So, especially with the some of the crap that he's putting out, I'm sorry, I'm going to say it like it is. But no, I don't think there's anything wrong. Again, with supporting the people that and I think it was Retro Tinker or somebody else back in the comments said, they missed an opportunity, give a portion to the firefighters of, the Fallen Firefighters Fund with the firefighter, give something to the police, give something to the veterans, just go down the line. Holy smokes. Like what, what is that TikTok trend? Holy airball? Like, you could have killed it. You could have crushed it with every single line. And instead, now we've got cases of cops and ollies right now. Really?
I need to find that ollies.
Doing?
Duke's like, I need to find that ollies. I know that's not my ollies either. Where are these ollies at? I'm asking for a friend who looks like me.
Let me tell you, anytime I see like a Ross post or an Ollie's post and they're like, they've got 6 cases of cops at Ollie's, and I'm like, let me guess, Bozeman, Montana. Yeah. Let me guess, Bozeman, Montana, or some stupid place like that, because they sure ain't at my Ollie's. They're not at my Ross. But that's like a whole nother show, like Rosscon and Ollie's, like how to get more for your dollar.
Yeah, if anybody needs a see-through Doctor Strange, I got you covered with my ollies.
Nice.
That's about all I can do.
If you want anything from the Incredibles or Eternal line.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, our Ollies has every one of them.
Yeah, like the biggest problem I had was I didn't know Casey and the other Motu collectors when my Ollies was just Motu'd out. Like, dude, when I tell you they had like 2 aisles of Motu. But in any case, yeah, I think that, overall, we can do better. We can do better as a line if we would get back to the roots of what we did. Like the first GI Joes, the 12 inchers, everything was based on reality. You know, you can start there and work away from it. I'm not saying don't do sci-fi, don't do crazy dinosaur animals or, you know,
It's
things
easy.
that, yeah. But, you know, you can't shy away from the reality of the world. That's where I'm at.
It's like going to a
And
buffet. You got to sprinkle a little of each of it on there.
yes. Well, and isn't that what made the 80s great? Like we had a little bit of everything. We had,
Yeah.
you know, a green army guy like Grunt, and then we also had sci-fi with a laser, you know. Wouldn't
Oh,
that there was something for everybody.
you go in the
And
stores and
ninjas.
go in the stores now and look what sells for kids. It's what's on TV. It's still going back to the old damn
Yeah.
the old recipe, you know? Sell it on
Yep.
TV and the parents will buy it in the stores for the kids. I mean, my kid loved Bluey when he was coming up a couple of years ago, and he's got tons of Bluey toys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Uh-oh. Yeah,
Yeah, those were the good old days.
man. You know, when I tell my kids what it was like, you know, back in the day, they're like, "Really?" They can't even understand it. Like there's no concept of what that was like. But yeah, I mean, can we you know, is that a problem with Hasbro now where they're not taking advantage because they still have the comic. The comic never went away. Is it the cartoon aspect? Like where are they missing market penetration? Like
Kids aren't reading comics. I think it needs to be a visual aid on TV. I mean, you look at stuff now, everybody's watching the same shit, you know? It's all streaming
yeah,
no matter what. If it Netflix, if they could land a cartoon series on Netflix, any major series. I mean, I don't even know what the hell Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh and all that bullshit is, but he watches it and then he gets the cards and he can barely read. He doesn't know what everything is, but he wants the cards because he sees it on TV.
yeah,
Times
yeah.
have changed, but the old recipe hasn't. The psychology is still there.
Yeah, I mean,
The marketing recipe,
Transformers
yeah.
is still there. You know, they're
Mhm.
still they sustained ever since the 80s. Whether you know those, I mean, my nephew, he's a senior in high school, but he is still into Transformers, and he's making little what do you call them, stop motion stuff with his toys. You know, his dad is annoyed as hell, like. You're too old to be playing with toys, and I'm just kind of in the corner going, "No, you're not."
No.
So, Transformers, funny side story there. So some of you know, some of you don't, but it's common knowledge. So when Lady Spartan and I were divorced, and I briefly lived out of state, a young man who I was around for a little bit, he was into Transformers, and I said, "Man, I know." But he's like, "You know about the Transformers?" I was like, "Yeah, I know about the Transformers." He's like, "What do you know about Transformers?" I was like, "Bro." I was like, I remember when the Ark crashed on Earth. Okay. I was like, I remember back when Megatron was first causing shit. I was like, don't bring this to me. I was like, what, you bought a few Transformers? He's like, I have like 50. I was like, okay. I was like, I've got 50 years. I was like, in my life. I was like, so we're good. And he was just so amazed that I knew about Transformers. And then, of course, I'm breaking out all these G.I. Joes. And he's like, who are those guys? And I was like,
What?
who are these guys? I was like, these are the allies of the Transformers, bro. I was like, you need to sit down. And I started actually watching the Sunbow cartoon, and he was like, this is kind of weird. And he's like, why? And I was like, just watch. I was like, it gets better. I had to bring him along a little bit, you know, and get him schooled up as a new generation. And he was actually kind of like in early high school and still into the Transformers, which I thought was interesting. I don't know. Anomaly.
So I'm half wondering because my kids, you know, my youngest doesn't know a world without a touch screen. Like we have video of him walking up to the flat screen TV and poking it because and getting pissed off because he could like nothing was happening when he was poking the TV. He's like, no, this is bullshit. There's no nothing's working. Like, you know, fix this. But I'm half wondering if there isn't a market for you know, because my kids grew up on YouTube, like that was their TV. They don't care about network television, right? They really don't care about that. It's YouTube. They have their favorite creators, and that's what they watch.
Yeah.
And to this day, as teenagers, that's what they do. They hop on YouTube. Is there a market for, a kind of a reality base, like your favorite fun uncle? Like, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk about, I guess YouTube isn't fond of firearms because Yojo Jerk got cut off the other night when he showed a gun. But
Which
is
is
there a
weird because
market?
they do gun reviews.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
What is
I never
that?
understood that.
What is that? That was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen on YouTube so far. It was like he held up a figure and he was like, "Here's this figure. Look how cool it is." And then there was a gun in the shot, and then they got cut off. Like, what? But is there a market? Like, because I know my kids when they went to bushcraft school, when they did all these things, they're like, "Wow, this is neat." And it's like, yeah, because we're not treating you like a Fabergé egg. Like, get out there, get in the woods, and we're not feeding you. Survive. Like, to them, that's like, oh, this is an adventure, and it's like, yeah, this is how we used to, like, we take some fruit roll-ups and a Capri Sun, and you were gone for the afternoon, bro. Like,
y'all got fruit roll-ups and Capri Sun?
they don't have real fruit roll-ups anymore.
They weren't real back then either.
They made you go fast, though. They made you go fast.
Synthetic candy.
But like I'm half wondering if maybe that is a new direction that somebody needs to go in and be like, be the fun uncle, be the one who's going to tell them like it really is, and just be like, hey, bring it in, kids, and get back to things like, hey, it's not wrong to be patriotic. You can be patriotic for the right reasons. You don't have to be like, I'm following this guy. That's not patriotism. Patriotism is, I love my country and I love the people in my country. Like that's what it's all about. But anyway, getting back to the toys of it all, I think that if Hasbro were to get back to a little bit more realism, a little bit more in line, I think they would do better. There you go. Look at Max.
Hey.
Max is like, I just tuned in at the right time. And Rexship hasn't had a fruit roll up in forever.
I don't think I've ever had one.
Really? Oh, dude, you got to find yourself a fruit roll up.
No, sir. They're working the devil. I find them every day at school on the floor.
Oh, don't eat the floor roll ups.
No.
Get yourself a fresh one.
It's okay. I'll pass.
But in any case, I think we've kind of. I don't know how much more I could beat this horse, but I sure do appreciate everybody coming out tonight. Tomorrow night, Zartan has an announcement on this channel. I don't want to give anything away, but I'm hoping some of y'all will join me because I think it's interesting. It's a little bit out of left field, and it's going to be cool. So, where's everybody going to be? Anybody got anything coming up? Eric, we'll start with you.
Next Saturday, podcast from the pit. Don't know what we're doing yet. So that's the way we roll. We don't have no prep.
How about you, Wes? I am jonesing for the next Joe Hunter video on YouTube. I know you've been getting settled. Any concept of a plan?
I have several. I just haven't. I've been busy and just yeah, but I have several up here that I might just whip out. But this Wednesday, Alpha One and I are doing our O-Ring Operatives show.
Nice.
Wednesday, every other Wednesday night, and it's our Wednesday. So yeah, we're gonna talk about the downfall of O-rings.
And what time would that be?
7 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
I already have. I already have notifications fully on for
awesome
for you guys. Evil Dookie, what are you working on? What do you got going on these days?
Appreciate you having me on, even though it was late. But Friday night, 9 o'clock Eastern, rough cut, myself and Turk, and hopefully Grievous will come back and join us. And then Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, which I know bumps up with you, but I was just trying to wiggle in there somewhere. That's the best I could do. Under the cut that's all mostly Dreadnoks and my spin on what I'm doing behind me. So it's a slow build. It's going to be a slow build. I just realized it's going to be slower because I screwed up, but the backside of it's done. It's just this way is not done.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Very cool. And Uncle Clutch, will you be joining the announcement tomorrow?
I will be tuned. I will be tuned in and on bated breath. I wanted to say too, in reference to Dookie's show, a lot of times we'll catch it on Replay Squad. I've told Dookie a lot of times I'm on the treadmill or the elliptical listening to him or Savage Land do theirs. It's just good to distract me from the boring ass cardio I'm trying to do. And even though Dookie has a lot of military service behind him, he brings kind of a unique perspective to the Dreadnoks. And you guys know I'm a big Dreadnought guy as well. From actually being a club rider, and I found some of his stuff really kind of informative and interesting. I've kind of shot some questions his way and kind of gotten some like personal education towards just even helping to shape some custom ideas. So I think it does, like I said, anything that brings a new perspective to this. We do have people who are ex-military, but I don't think we have a lot of people who are bring that perspective to it. And whereas mine is like Marine Corps and Army and Cop, Dookie's is like did a long stint and military, and then did a pretty good sized stint in riding in a club, and very creative with the stuff he builds. He's got some stuff in the background there that I got to kind of see earlier today. And whereas I do mostly figures, I dabble a little in vehicles, but Dookie really hits like a lot of what I would call like the heavy hitting projects. So definitely worth checking out. And for me this week, we'll tune in on Monday. Lady Spartan's going on a work trip, so I'll probably work on some figures. My intent is to list 3 more. I listed a Cobra, a Joe, and a Knock, which was my goal, and I want to try to do that again this week, one of each. And Big Ben, a custom Big Ben will be the Joe, and he is actually a big guy. Like, he's not the same size as all the Joes, because his name is Big Ben, which is a big clock tower. So it's not just to take on being British. He's bigger. He has an actual FNFAL rifle, and he does have some things like a breaching shotgun and some cool commando sweater. It's basically a different figure, but the head is the same. So you'll recognize him from the neck up, but you will not recognize him from the neck down. So you check it out. And not this weekend coming up, but the following weekend, I do have locally Toylanta. And I'm not sure if they're going to combine Joe Lanta with that, because I don't see anything on the calendar update. And if anybody out there who's watching or listening goes to Toylanta or Joe Lanta, hit me up in the comments, or even shoot me something on Instagram or Facebook, because I just like to kind of get to know some people locally before we all hit Joe Fest. If I can link up with anybody, say hello, shake hands, kiss some babies, steal their lollipops, all that stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. I bought the early doorbuster ticket, and Lady Spartan may or may not come with me on Saturday to work the room, but I'll be handing out stickers of our logo and our postcard, which she helped design.
Very cool. Very cool. I may have to hit you up. I was trying to get to Toylanta, and I don't know if I can make the I'm quite sure I could make the business thing work, but I don't know. I think right now my wife has hit the limit of my collecting stuff, as it were. It was the huge set that I built or started to build today. Uncle Clutch got a preview of it, and she walked in and she was like, it took up the entire game room. Like, what are you building? And I'm like, I'm world building, woman. Go in the other room. Yes, so tomorrow night it should be exciting, and I'll be tuning in for Wes's show on Wednesday, and Podcast from the Pit on Saturday, and Evil Dookie shows. It's going to be an exciting week. I'm looking forward to it, and I thank everybody for hanging in with us. This is probably the most people we've had in a Sunday Funday in a very long time, consistently throughout the show. So I thank everybody in the chat, and we will see you next Sunday. And until then, be good to each other, support your veterans, and celebrate what it means to be a G.I. Joe fan.
Yeah.
We'll catch you soon.
See y'all.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
No, bullshit. Yeah. Bullshit. No, I'm not going to accept it. No, I'm going to will it not to happen. Will it? Yeah. You know, will it? I'm not too old for this shit. I'm not too old for this shit. You will it not. We're not too old for this shit. Oh, well, we're not too old for this shit. We're not too old for this. Say it like you believe it. We're not too old for this shit. Yeah. Yeah.